What's up, y'all? We got Cory Seawright on today. Amazing energy, great guy, great story. You're really gonna enjoy this. Ton full of great knowledge and good energy from him on kind of how he approaches the business. But first, I want to update everyone on an exciting new feature that's coming out. I'm like legit pumped on this, like home inspection nerd style, but like auto tagging. So many of you know that use advanced, you can add tags to certain contacts and then create actions that trigger certain emails or texts based on those tags. Right now, you have to manually add them. That can be tedious. While powerful, still can be tedious to have to manually go in, figure out which of your agents have done 10 or more inspections, or which agents haven't been around in the last 2 months. So this is going to evolve over time, but the initial iteration of this is going to have tagging rules based on the number of inspections associated to agents or clients. Like basically, like an optional time window can be added to that. The revenue from inspections associated to certain clients or agents, and the number of days since the first or last inspection associated by agents or clients. As you can tell, this is powerful. And there's going to be automated removal of tags based on rule failure, meaning if they do an inspection with you after being absent for 6 months, then it basically breaks that tag away. So it's going to create so much efficiency and so much automation within your guys' business and communication that I think this could be one of the biggest 5 features we've ever put out. So I'm just going to put that out there, not to be dramatic, but I do believe it's that powerful because I've used automation in a number of different softwares that we use for Spectora, and the headaches it saves you, the logistical time, the admin overhead it saves you, life changing. So there's certain things where when it just does the thing for you, like send an email or text, it can make life very beautiful and can prevent you guys from needing to hire, say, a first or second admin or even another inspector if you get your stuff dialed in to where you as the owners can spend less time doing these types of things, fit in a couple more inspections, and just make your business overall more efficient. Or if you're looking at it from the growth angle, you can really have tight feedback loops and reach out to agents quickly that you haven't worked with in a short amount of time. So wanted to just preview that. That's going to be out in the next quarter or so. But definitely write in if you're curious about it. We always want beta testers to give feedback on this, but this one's going to be a banger. So enjoy the conversation today with Cory Seawright. Thanks, y'all.
Let's go, man. Let's do it.
Well, cool. Cory, thanks for joining, man. I'm excited about this because you spoke to Dave and James, I think, on our team prior, right?
Yeah, honestly, man, when they emailed me about being on the podcast, I was like, I think you guys made a mistake.
No, sir. They talked about one how just great you were to work with and talk to, but your success story over the last couple of years. And so I want it. We the people want to hear about it. So that's what we're doing.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, I'm
Um,
here.
so yeah, so if you don't mind just introducing kind of yourself to everybody, who you are, how long you've been in the business, where you're located, which is clear from the background. The branding game is on point, which I always appreciate.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm Cory Seawright. I'm the owner of Mississippi Premier Inspections, obviously in Mississippi. We're from a small-ish town, Tupelo, Mississippi, which is or the only thing we're famous for here is the birthplace of Elvis Presley. But that's about all we got going.
Whoa,
So,
it's kind of big.
right, the king of rock and roll. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. No, so been in business 22 months now. It's been a whirlwind, but we've uh, we've been blessed, man. We really have. We've been really blessed.
it's amazing. So let's kind of start at the beginning, if you don't mind. Sometimes I go chronological, sometimes I don't, but I think for new-ish inspectors, kind of either thinking about getting in the business or that have been in for a year or two, it's not the easiest times right now. So I
Right.
think like hearing kind of your origin story, how you got in the biz, and kind of like what you did in those first, like, if you could take us back to those first 10 days, 20 days. I'm always fascinated of like what you
Yeah,
did to get going.
those were terrifying. So, um, no,
Yes.
where I got started was I worked before I got started home inspecting. I worked at a large automotive manufacturer in our area, and worked there for about 8 or 9 years, close to 9 years, and worked my way up the ladder there, and quickly found out that corporate America was not my cup of tea. So, then comes the pandemic, and we're working from home for about a month or so,
Hmm.
and start questioning things. Is like, am I happy? I'm working 2 weeks nights, 2 weeks days.
Oh, doing what?
It is just I was over paint shop in
Hmm?
a Toyota plant,
Yeah.
and so yeah, just cranking out Corollas left and
Yeah.
right. So got to questioning things, found out I was not happy where I was. Essentially, my wife was raising the family for the 2 weeks I was on night shift because I was no good.
Right.
And coming off of working 2 weeks of nights, going straight into days, you're basically a zombie for
Right.
3 days trying to get back on track. So that's kind of where things started. We're in the pandemic. I was questioning things, watching some YouTube videos, and home inspection popped up, and I said, I could do that.
Huh.
I have a very good base knowledge of uh, homes and their systems and stuff. And man, just one thing I did look at that was really the selling point for me is I got on the state's website, and for whatever reason, they provide all the inspectors in the states their birth dates. And I did the math, and 83% of these inspectors were 5 years from retirement age. And I was like, bingo, there we go. So I felt like I had time to, if I got in it now, I could build my name, build my brand, and just be ready for that. So that was, essentially how I
What
got
a
into it.
what a great piece of data to be able to stumble on though. And like I love that you like knew the data. You found the numbers and you said, huh, that's a lot of business that's going to open up over the next
That's
five
right.
years. I love that.
Absolutely.
Not sure if everyone has access to that, but if you can find it, great, use it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, for
So you
sure.
made the decision. What did the off ramp look like with the jobs, kind of like easing into the business?
So this one shocks a lot of people because yeah, anyway. Um so I passed my exam, I get licensed, all my insurance and everything like that, and just tell my wife one day, I was like, yeah, not going in tonight. We're cashing out the 401k and we're going into this. So boom, just headlong into it, man. Just
I love
I was
that.
like, this is gonna work or it's gonna fail. And failure's not an option because I've got four
Yes.
kids and a wife that depend on me. So I hit the ground blazing, man.
I love that. So did you lay the foundation with her ahead of time or was it like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We planted
Yeah.
seeds along the way, right? So that it wouldn't just like,
How did that
you
feel
know,
when you said it, when you were like, I'm doing this. I'm not going back to that life. Like it's a rush, huh?
man, yeah, it was a rush for sure. It was a mixture of terror, sheer terror, and absolute joy.
A lot
If
of oh
that
shit,
makes
oh shit,
sense.
oh shit. I hope this works.
Yeah, exactly right. What the hell have I done?
Clearly I know the
Absolutely,
feeling.
man.
Yeah.
It was wild, man. But you know, just having, making connections over the course of time and having a few people that would give me a shot in the beginning. Um, the thing I kind of approached it bass backwards from most people. So I didn't right out of the gate. I had a couple of agents that I know that I reached out and said, "Hey, if you want to give me a shot, give me a shot."
Just from
But
personal networking, just like
yeah,
personal
yeah.
network. Okay.
So I more went towards branding, marketing, um, and reaching the public
Okay.
because I felt like versus me going and asking realtors to give me a chance, I could reach a few clients and then really capitalize on that. Like they see me on Google, they hire me, not necessarily a referral from an agent, but that's how agents became. It's a warm introduction, right, to an
Yeah.
agent. They grew to love me and my reporting style, and the rest is history. It just kind of spread like wildfire, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So when you say worked on branding, clearly, you got the polo. What else does that look like? What else is included in that?
Man, branding is so many different things. It's yeah, the stereotypical stuff like the uniform, the big fat head on the wall back there, the wrap on the car. You've got, I mean, branding is so much more than that, though. It's what is your company? What do they do? What's your culture? What do you want? How do you want the public to perceive you? Right. So
Yeah.
that's what my social media turned into. That's educational pieces, doing videos, just explaining why things are defects and why we call them out and things like that. So that's essentially what all my social media became.
What platforms are you on the most?
Yes. No, I'm kidding. I'm on
All of
all
the
of them.
above.
No, primarily Facebook because of the demographic that are buying houses right now,
Sure.
the age bracket. We are moving more into Instagram and TikTok. We keep TikTok a little more lighthearted, some goofy stuff on there, but yeah, LinkedIn, you name it, man. It's all out there. LinkedIn's more of a B2B type
Sure.
thing, and then Facebook's more for the consumer and client. But yeah, we're on all of them.
Yeah, and I like that approach though, because you worked on the business and kind of how you present to the outside world over let me go meet 10 agents, kind of start seeding with them. Was that always the plan, or did you like hear from someone else that it's tough, either path is tough, but like why did you decide that route? Because you're right, that's not typical.
I did decide that early on. Like I said, I reached out to my few agents that I knew right off the bat because got bills to pay. But we it kind of was the initial plan just to do it that way because I feel it's more of an organic growth, and organic growth, in my opinion, is healthy growth.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, that's just it kind of was in the plan that way.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the website, not because I'm biased and we built it, but like holy shit, the video, like the effects on the homepage, everyone's got to go see
Yeah.
this. This is not me talking my own book here, but like Mississippi Premier Inspections.com. I went to the site before we got on and I'm like, I didn't know we could do that. I literally did not. I've never seen a site that looks that cool when you get to it. And then I have to give you props. So Mike and I teach a new inspector course at Internachi every month or every other month
Mhm.
now. And every time we flash up on the screen one of the websites, which it's probably going to be you now, that shows the face on the homepage. We always say,
Yeah.
put your face out there. Don't be scared of it. People want to feel like they connect with you, the brand.
Absolutely.
99%
Absolutely.
of the people in the class never do it.
Well,
You
and you
have your
find that a
face.
lot.
You've got your face in there. It's up close. It's personal. I just wanted to give you props on that.
Thanks,
Was
man.
that an intentional move? Obviously, was it calculated, or were you just
It
like, ah?
was. There's so many aspects of human psychology that play into owning a business, man. I would have never thought it, but it's crazy. I mean, we could talk hours on this, but just yeah, get your face out there for sure. It's uncomfortable for everybody. Nobody should think that it's only uncomfortable for them. People would look at my social media and think that I absolutely live, breathe, die social media. But honestly, not a big fan. But it's a tool. It's absolutely a tool, and it's
Exactly.
a necessary tool.
Yes. Let's say that again, for the people in the back that I think inspectors it can't be understated how important it is, and that's where the rest of the world is spending time, especially real estate agents. And so you don't have to love it. I don't love it. People look at my hair
Yeah,
and must think I love so. No, I don't. I don't love it either. I think it's one of the worst things, one of the worst creations I think our
it's
society
pretty
has.
terrible.
Pretty
It's pretty
terrible.
terrible.
But how do you reach people? Social media.
Yeah,
So
hey.
how do you come up with well, one last thing I want to just finish the thought on the website. Also, the writing on it is very refreshingly conversational. I think when I was the one still building sites for inspectors, I would always tell them like they would ask, what do I write on my homepage? You know, and I'm like, well, what would you say if you walked up to someone and shook their hand? You know, and it still came out robotic for most inspectors, but like you nailed it. I'll link to your site in the description for everybody. But yeah, it feels like I'm talking to you. So I feel like I know you already before we even got on. That's powerful.
We have so little time as inspectors to create what relationship we can with our clients. So you have to take every avenue to create that relationship however you can, man. If I'm guilty of anything, it's over communication because you cannot communicate enough, in my opinion. I want the client to know exactly what phase we're in. I text them right when we arrive to the property. And I've trained my other inspector that way too. That's just I wanted him to be a mini me because I
Yeah.
don't think you can be a larger me because I'm a pretty big fella.
Your wife's probably a happy woman if you over communicate. That's a good thing. How do you come up with social media content? That's always a mental block for a lot of people. Like, do you have a process or is it just winging it?
Man, it's honestly, if I see something naturally, I think people would be interested in this. But if you're not that guy, if you can't think that way, it's as easy as a Google search, man. It's it's just what's common problems for a home,
Boom.
just simple as that. I mean, it doesn't have to be earth shattering, groundbreaking. Just the thing is, man, put your face on the screen, talk to the people, because we grew up watching TV. Whoever was on the TV was the authority on the matter.
Right.
So same goes today. If I'm on your phone or I'm on your computer screen, I'm the authority on the matter. That's just the way it is. It's human psychology. It's just the way people think.
And I think there's some, I don't know the official stat. I think I've heard casual thrown out that like 1% of people create content, 99% consume it. And it's like, do
Oh,
you want to be part of that 1% that is an authority on it? But I also think there's this weird pressure on social that inspectors or anyone that creates content thinks they have to drop some like ridiculous gem or like something they've never heard before. I'm like, no, we're mostly all regurgitating stuff that's out
that's it.
there.
That's
Right?
it. There is nothing original about anything I do, hardly at all. Okay.
Right. Same.
So yeah, it's all regurgitated, man. You nailed it.
Takes the pressure off too. Um,
Really does.
well, cool. I just wanted to make sure to give you your props for that because it's
Thanks,
subtle.
man.
It's subtle, but I noticed it and it jumped out to me right away. And I don't get why more inspectors don't just do it. Because it is you are the brand initially. Now you're training your guy up to be an extension of the brand. But
A story on that, but maybe we'll hit on that later.
yeah, let's go there. Let's hit on that. So
All right.
like
Well, cool. Hey,
well,
so
when
one
did you
thing
first want to hire? Like when did that even enter your mind?
about a year in,
Okay.
well, 10 months in, I just knew because we were in the height of the crazy market
Bubblicious.
and kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, we're in the Southeast, so we're kind of an anomaly right now. So, everybody moving to the Southeast right now.
Yeah. You're
So,
still booming a
so
little bit, right?
yeah. But after we hired, his name's Joe. I kept Joe underneath, my wing for about a year, and then he went and tested and then passed, and all that. He's out on his own now. So, but the trouble were and I want to know if other inspectors are, moving into the multi inspector firm thing have noticed this as well. You've branded yourself and you are one with the company, and you start sending out a new inspector. They're just like, "Oh, you're not coming to do it?" Yeah, I was like, never in a million years would I have thought I'd been like, no, my guy Joe's coming to do it."
You've built a
So
brand, you've built a reputation. Yeah.
yeah, but trouble is overcoming this obstacle now.
Yeah.
I
Any
guess it's a
ideas?
good problem to have.
Has anything kind of worked initially?
So I've just actually noticed this issue because honestly, Joe's only been out on his own for a month, but super qualified, and great at what he does. Um, Working towards our branding and marketing team, right? We're going team, not just, hey, I'm da 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 da, you know, working team in there more. So that people have that expectation of, hey, you know, maybe it's not Cory, maybe it could be somebody else coming to do the job. So that's the first approach we're going to take anyway.
I like that. Yeah, I have seen some inspectors use the we and team from the beginning, and they're like, "Hey, I know it's going to feel fraudulent at first. Could you put this on my
Yeah,
website though? Make we instead of I because I want to grow this thing." So it could feel weird for a while, I'm sure,
right.
but then I mean, you've got the polos, and I think the whole process. There's like so much process that can be trained to make it look and feel the same, but then the personality of the person has to kind of hit too, right? And so
Absolutely.
hopefully it all comes together to where an agent is just like, oh yeah, this is most like he is just almost as cool as Cory.
Almost.
Almost. So speaking of that, so like has the current market have you been pleasantly surprised? Have you been bracing for pain? Kind of like where are you at with that?
I think you have to be prepared for everything, man. I think you, you know, hope for the best, prepare for the worst is what my dad always said. So,
Sure.
um, just we're averaging, we've been in business for 22 months and we've done, I think the last I looked was 673 inspections altogether.
Wow.
Um,
Congrats, by the way.
we, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That's a big deal. I see a lot of numbers, and that's a very high number for 22 months.
Yeah, I don't sleep. We got this right here,
Red Bull.
artificial energy.
Sponsored by Red Bull.
No, man, just, uh, anyway, lost my train of thought, but, you know, we try we try to keep rolling just as hard as we
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
it's
Are you seeing hesitation at all from buyers, agents, or is it still just, I mean, still competitive down there in the Southeast, right? Because then the numbers tell the story. I saw just this morning, the West and Northeast still down year over year. I think the Southeast still up.
so no real hesitation, honestly. Oh, that's where we were going with that question. But no, things are still pretty strong here. We're expecting a good summer market. We had a couple of slow weeks in the spring and right around Christmas, which is typical. Of course, I don't have many metrics to go off of. I've only been in business for a
Sure.
couple of years, but
Yeah, hard comps
you
to,
know,
compete with.
sure. But yeah, still strong, man. Still strong. Expecting good things this summer.
So you're such a personal guy. I'm enjoying chatting with you. What's your philosophy on like maintaining relationships with some of the agents? Because I know you said you're going direct, your website's good. I just Googled you. You rank well in your city already, which is impressive, inside of 2 years. When I search for, is it Tupelo? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Tupelo.
Tupelo. Yep.
Tupelo home inspector. You're up there and picture of your face is in the Google search results. That's all great. But with the agents that have worked with you multiple times, how does that look? And if there's nothing outside of the inspection, what do your interactions look like kind of on site and kind of after?
Man, we've done the gamut. We've of course there's always social media, blah blah blah. But there's nothing better than in person to person. So we've thrown, just spontaneous lunches for agents where we put out on social media, hey, meet us here at this time, lunch is on us.
Oh, cool.
And, had have 20 agents show up, just, I mean, it's for all the other inspectors out there that think they can't afford to do that. You can afford to do that because that lunch that I just recently did paid for itself in an hour and a half.
Well, no way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you can afford it, and you should afford it.
But they booked
Just those type
someone
things.
booked a job like an
Yeah,
hour and a half after.
that
Amazing.
had never used me before. Yeah, that's what I consider paying for itself. Now, if somebody, that already used me booked one, I wouldn't have considered it, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're securing future business because if a young, hungry Corey is out there trying to wine and dine, they're not going to get pulled away because they're like, nope, Corey's my guy.
yeah.
What a
And
great deal.
honestly, I think, things were so crazy early on, just going, going, going. I think one of my early on mistakes was not cultivating those relationships enough, and not looking at my metrics enough that were available to me, um, to know, hey, I haven't heard from so and so in quite a while. Maybe I should reach out. And, it was just 2 and 3 inspections a day. It's just go, go, go. Um, and we may have felt a little, pullback from that.
Sure.
But because some of the other inspectors that weren't so busy, they're coming in, they're talking, silver tonguing. So I mean, just you got to stay on top of that type of thing. It's critical to stay in your real estate agent's life and on their mind.
I do have a feature that I'm pumped about that's in beta right now that I have to tell you about because it's related to this. Obviously, person to person, undefeated, always get in person, shake hands, get a coffee. We have an auto tagging feature that's going to come out where it automatically will tag an agent if they haven't done an inspection with you in like X amount of days. You'll decide the days. And then that tag would trigger an action to go out to send them an email to say, "Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Want to grab
That's
coffee?" So like
freaking huge, man.
I'm like we're nerding out about this internally.
That's huge. Look,
So
I'm a nerd. I nerd out with you guys, man. I'm telling you. Um, Best inspection software I ever, I found, and I shopped and I shopped and I shopped. So,
no, appreciate
kudos to
that.
you guys. So fantastic
But no,
work.
we're thinking of stuff like that, man, to like kind of replicate yourselves or because like you guys, you have to do everything. You got to market, you got to be customer service, you got to be sales, you got to do the inspection, you got to train a guy, then you got to ride with him while he's doing inspection. So um
Yep.
some of these communications, if they can like look personalized, but maybe be automated, semi-automated is what we call it,
Yeah,
then it's a win-win for everybody.
man, that's freaking huge. That's freaking huge. It is.
So what are you looking ahead? You mentioned the jump to multi. What's different now? Are you spending your time in different ways? Like what how are you kind of
I
looking?
am, man.
Yeah.
So I've regained a little bit of free time since Joe's on his own. So I've just been networking, man, marketing, networking. You cannot be stagnant. The minute you go stagnant and start, not going to say start enjoying some of your free time because you should, you've earned it. But definitely utilize most of that time towards doing things you weren't able to do when you were in the field constantly, which is those one-to-ones, those in-person meetups, whatever you can do, just spontaneous visits to the brokerages, take some cookies, take some donuts, whatever.
Yeah.
People
Activity.
notice that. They notice that. Yep.
Um, I can't remember if it was a podcast or something I read of just like just taking action creates more action and momentum. And it's like kind of a fluffy cliche, but like I think sometimes inspectors can overthink it of like, oh, well, what do I do? What's the formula? Like, just how do I do this or that? It's like, just walk out the door.
Just go.
Just
Just
walk
go.
out the, just leave the house.
That's exactly right.
Don't care where you go. Just leave. To do
Just go,
so.
man.
Just go. Yeah. Well, that's cool to hear. I think that is a huge lesson in itself for inspectors, and especially in this environment, right? Because there is maybe a little more open space on the schedule for some inspectors because some markets are hurting.
I think the reason some inspectors overthink something is because our industry is notorious for introverted intellectuals, um, and it's a cop out. They want to overthink things. I'm not quite ready to do it. No, just go do it. If it sucks, it sucks. Learn from it.
Wonder if it's all just a fear of failure. Like, when people procrastinate or like, oh, I'm a perfectionist. I always say like, are you a perfectionist or are you
Right?
just
Are
putting
you?
off like potential failure because it's scary and we don't want to fail and we're
Right.
we're being vulnerable by being an entrepreneur and starting a company. Um,
Well,
well, that's good to hear that you're able to spend time on the activities that are generating more growth in agents. Um, are you kind of like structuring that day by day, hour by hour, or is it kind of like you just go off gut of like, hey, time
I
to hit
really
up?
should structure it,
Hey, it's not
but I don't.
no, it's not a bad thing. I think the gut, like gut instinct has gotten you to where you're at too, in terms of like
Yeah.
going where you need to go. And so it's good for inspectors to hear though, because I think everyone wants to believe everything's neatly time boxed on calendars and
Oh
it's
no,
like the life of an entrepreneur, dude. It's like, no.
hardly, hardly.
Yeah. But you do seem like you've cultivated that instinct though of like, hey, don't go too long without posting on social. Hey, don't go too long without hitting up these offices of agents that have used me X amount of times, right?
Yeah. Just and the main thing with hitting on the social thing is consistency. You just you can't speak enough for being consistent. That's how you grow your following, I guess, so to speak, on socials. Just be consistent. And like we discussed earlier, it doesn't have to be like this bombshell you're dropping every time. Just drop something, you know?
Do you schedule your posts or do you just generally have a cadence?
Just try to every day or at least every other day post a
Okay.
video in reels or, just anything.
Good for you.
Just
That it
keep
takes
the momentum
discipline.
going.
Yeah, it takes discipline to do it without a system. You must be wired a little different with your internal alarm because I tell some inspectors, I'm like, if you don't structure this, you're gonna find an excuse to not do it. But I think you've seen like the validation from doing it,
Oh,
which is
I've seen the
different.
results from
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
it's different once you
absolutely.
see results from it. Because then there's
For
no
sure.
question that it works and that you need to keep showing up and doing it. And the algorithms obviously promote people that show up every day. It's like no
That's
secret.
right.
Probably. We don't have to know how it works to kind of on a basic level say, keep putting your face on there and they'll promote you to the right people.
Yep, absolutely right.
Um, so what else are you kind of envisioning as you go forward with your business and keep growing? Like what's interesting to you? Like what else do you even want to chat about and get into right now?
Let's see. Well, when I started, I want to make mention of casting a big vision when you first start. This is for people that are
Mm,
thinking about getting into it. My goal was never to just make a living at this. My goal was to. That's why I named this, and some could say this is limiting within the state, and it is Mississippi Premier Inspections. But I want a inspectors throughout the entire state. Little subsects in different areas. That was my original vision, and I had a 5-year, 10-year goal, and right now I'm on track. Just set a big vision, because if you don't set a lofty big vision, you'll just make a living, and that's it.
where did
And
you
that's okay if that's your thing.
Right. If that's what you set out to do, great. But I think a lot of people they can like occasionally have like glimpses of the big vision, but never spend time on it, which is different because
Right.
it's like a full commitment. Where did you learn that from? Or where did you like what was your inspiration to even like think in terms of like, hey, create a vision?
Man, I can't. I'm like a self-improvement book junkie. I can't even
Ah,
remember where
yeah,
I
that's
hear half of
awesome.
my stuff, man.
Any impactful books like that jump out in your mind over the years? Because I love that kind of
So
stuff.
the one that's really blown my mind lately, and it's really just full of stuff we all know, but just to hear it kind of puts it in a different perspective, is the Six Working Geniuses. Um,
The
I
Six
forget
Working
the
Geniuses. I'm gonna write that down.
author, but anyway, it's talking about we can't be great at everything. So find the people that are great and get them on board. That way, that no portion of the business struggles. So you got visionaries, you got what they call galvanizers, which are keep everybody on track type people, and some parts of owning a business just suck, and then some people absolutely enjoy those portions, which blows my mind. Like the administrative side of owning a business, hate it.
Right.
But there's people that get off on it. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
they
Some brains
they
work
love
that
it.
way.
Yep,
Is your next hire
absolutely.
going to be an admin potentially? Scheduler?
Should be, but
Yeah.
probably not.
Why not?
No, I've got a part-time admin right now
Yeah.
that takes care of just the large stuff. So
Yeah.
just on an hourly basis. She's got like 2 or 3 other jobs. I mean, so she don't. It's not like she puts in crazy hours. But the thing is, she can get done in 2 hours a week what would take me 8 hours,
Right.
because she's good at it. That's not my strong suit. So I stick with what I'm good at, which is, I consider, and I may be wrong, but what I consider me being good at is casting a vision, building something, getting people excited about things. And, you know, I may have to bring somebody else in to see things through, because that's not my strong suit. But uh, I can get people pumped about something, man. I feel like that's what I'm good at, and you know, I heard something the other day. We don't manage our time; we manage our energy,
Hmm.
which makes perfect sense, man. Um, because the thing is, if you did a full day's work, 8 hours of work doing something that absolutely you hate, that's going to drain you. But you're going to be home at 3:30, but you have no energy for nothing.
Right.
So if we manage our energy, do the things that we're good at and enjoy for the most of the time, we can't avoid the things that suck all the time. But if we stay within the things that we love and do best, we're really managing our energy. We still have something to offer whenever we're out of work. So,
Oh man, that kind of blows my mind low key because I like understand that concept, but I don't always practice it. And it's
oh,
so
same.
true. It's so true because when we started Spectora, I remember there being 10, 12-hour days, but I would have energy after that for dinner with wife and hang out with kid. Like there was times because I was doing the things that energized me, but then you do the
Right.
things that suck the life out of you. You're like, I don't think I can play with the kids tonight. Like I'm tired. You could have
Yeah.
only worked 4 hours of something, a
That's right.
shitty part of the job.
Yeah.
Um, I love this train of thought too for inspectors because um, I think a lot of times early on, knowing where to put their attention, they think they have to be all things, and then it just makes you feel like you're failing at all things as opposed to like, what am I
Yeah.
good at? And I was smiling when you were talking describing yourself because I think we're very alike in that way. I'm like big vision guy. I'm a big take action guy. I'm a big team guy that just rallies people around kind of like where we're going. And then I'm like ready to
Yeah.
run through walls and like get it started. But once it's time to organize shit and put it in spreadsheets and
Hey,
delegate tasks, I'm
somebody
like,
else take it
I'm
over.
like, I need help.
Me
Somebody
to a
help.
T right there. I'm telling you, man.
Like, let me
Golly.
get a type A in here to get this
Exactly.
going,
Right.
man. um, so let's shift gears to kind of like growth with it, like on the add-on services front. Are you guys like adding on services? Do you have visions for kind of adding different services and divisions of the company? Like, I'm always curious how you view ancillaries.
So we're just now starting to introduce ancillaries. We're going to get into air quality testing, and I've just gotten my sewer scope in, so I've got to take what's his name, Jim Crum. Got to take his course
Cool.
on sewer scoping, and then we're going to start upping our average inspection price. So right now,
Yeah.
honestly, we're doing pretty good with our average price. I feel like being
Yeah.
and not offering an auxiliary or ancillary services. We're at, I think it was $468 per inspection average. And we're not even offering extras yet. So
We should celebrate this. I want to pause. I want to tap on this because I think about this a lot. Having been a realtor and then having bought a couple homes, we're still severely underpriced as an industry. I
absolutely.
think everyone knows that, but I think I want to highlight a few things about you that you probably can't say about yourself. The way you present yourself, the way it seems like you connect with people, the effort you put in, you have full confidence in what you're charging, which allows you to charge that much, which is why people probably don't say no to it very often. So I think as an industry, we have to keep talking about upward pressure
Got
on
to.
prices because every other part of the real estate transaction probably makes too much for what they do. I
Yeah.
think the home inspector provides
Nailed it.
thousands of dollars worth of value, and we're still kind of stuck and worried about inching prices up. And so I would say that even if I wasn't in the industry, objectively looking at what a home inspector saves the homeowner, so like, how do we market that better? How do we promote this? So I just wanted to give you props for that because we don't talk
Thanks, man.
about
I
it enough.
appreciate that. So, for the first 2 or 3 months, just to get my feet wet, I was charging like $350 for an inspection because
Mhm.
that was the going rate in my area, and I was like, "What are we doing?" When I'm dragging ass at the end of the day, and I'm just what did I do? I mean, for pennies,
Yeah,
I'm sitting
yeah,
here like, and then you're at an inspection, and an appraiser comes and is there for 15 minutes, and they're walking away with nothing on appraisers. Good on them for making what they make, but they're there for 15 minutes and go back and do 45 minutes of office work, and they've pocketed $600 or $700.
Drives
So
me nuts.
it's yes, me too, man, me too. Because yeah, what we do, we get down into the nitty gritty, man. We get down into the nitty. We do the stuff nobody else wants to do in the real estate transaction, and arguably the lowest paid
Right.
in that transaction.
Yeah. And
So
I
yes, we have to keep going up with, but the thing is, if you're going to go up with your price, you have to go up with your value. You have to create
mm,
value for the client, or else nobody's going to want to pay that. And that's the trouble. Now we won't go into local stuff because there's some spectator users that could see the podcast.
right. But I agree, adding ancillaries and then doubling down on yourself, who you are, what you're putting out, because I just I know in my heart of hearts that if someone sees you on social, they see you adding value, your credibility meter just keeps bumping up and bumping up. And then they get to the website and, oh my God, this guy's premium, this guy's premier. Then you get on site and they're like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And they get the report and then they feel great about what they paid. And they may not even think about that, the fact that they just paid $500 or $600. So,
Right.
um, everyone's got to add on sewer scope for sure. If nothing else,
Absolutely. It just
um,
makes 100% sense.
yeah, I mean, you can outsource it still and take the payment. I mean, there's like, to me,
Yeah.
it's like a no brainer to anything customers are asking for, charge them for it and then fulfill it on the back end, whether it's you or someone else. So,
Yeah, like I will be the first home inspector in our area to offer sewer scoping.
no
You
way.
call a plumber around here to come look at their drainage lateral, 500, $600. So we're about to. I'm excited about it.
That's
We'll just put it
amazing.
that way.
Yeah,
I'm
I love
excited
it.
about it.
And the last piece on this too, it grows an efficient business that snowballs once you hire two, three, four, five people, because over the years, it's like if you're just making an additional $100 each time you walk out the door, that adds up to someone's salary in year maybe two, three,
Oh,
four,
absolutely.
five, right?
And
And
that was
so,
the decision maker right there, man. That was the decision maker because I'm needing to bring on another guy, and we've just gone through the interviewing process and everything. So we think we got it nailed down to who we're going to call, but I need this ancillary service to help pay for his salary. I
yeah.
do, and it's going to do that.
What do you guys get lots of home buyers or agents saying like, oh, hey, you pointed out all these plumbing defects. Do you know a plumber? Do you know a handyman? Do you know a HVAC guy? Like, what's your perspective on that in terms of adding value versus the typical pushback is like, oh, liability. Oh, it's not my job. I don't want to refer
No,
any.
my idea is how can I make money off of it? So I obviously we can't fix these things. It's a conflict
Sure.
of interest in Mississippi. I don't know about every state, but I can sell ad space. So if they want to be on an automated email, and this is something I want to, and I've actually needed to schedule a call with you guys to discuss, but automated email with I guess like friends we use or friends we refer or something like that. They can pay me X amount a month to be the first person, in front of what in a lot of cases is they're moving into this area. They have no contacts. So,
Right.
and I'm their first or second contact in this area, and I'm handing them your name. What's that worth to you? What will you pay per month on that? And that's recurring income. That these are things you have to think about.
You're so practical and refreshing because that's how I see it, as plain and simple as that. Because contractors across the world pay for leads one way or another. They pay for blind
Absolutely.
leads that are way worse than a new homeowner. Uh,
Angie Lead sucks, and they are like
they're a big company. Yeah,
killing it. Yeah.
they're a big company. And so yeah, and we first of all definitely book that call, or I'll get you with James or Megan or Josh, whichever one you initially connected with. Those are our three product managers, because the more we can nail this and enable you guys to get that recurring income, man, that's like rocket fuel. One, for a growing business like yours, but to maybe even an inspector that's doing 5 or 10 a month. that might be like you're doing 10 or 20 a month
That's right.
with the extra income.
Absolutely.
So that's cool to hear. I think that's a no
Yeah.
brainer. And I believe it could be a game changer for our industry and create a lot of wealth for a lot of people in our business.
Absolutely. Agree, man. I couldn't agree more.
Because I want them to associate you with like, hey, I trust him and he knows good business. He's not going to steer me wrong. I'm not going to hold him liable, of course, for anything that happens. But like,
Yeah.
he's going to connect me with the right people.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a no-brainer. It really is.
Well, cool, man.
People
What
that
else?
people that think it's a liability, they're just, I don't know. I don't want to. I think they're overthinking it.
I think so.
Things can be put in place to where it's not a liability.
Disclaimers. There's a reason why disclaimers exist.
Yeah.
There's a reason why lawyers exist, to craft these documents to make sure liability
And the
is
thing is, if you're a home inspector and you don't have a lawyer on retainer, you are messing up. You need
please,
to.
please go find one.
Yep.
Well, cool. I mean, this has been amazing. I could talk to you for hours. Like what else what else are you seeing kind of in the industry, or do you keep up kind of with the industry in terms of online conferences, or have you been heads down? Like, because I would
Man,
understand if you've been heads down.
head's been down, nose to the grindstone for the past 22 months. It's just been crazy. But I do have a desire to make it to some conferences. Would love to sit under some people because I want to learn. I want to learn more. I want to learn deeper. I did the beginning thing with IAB, and want to do more of that because they're phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
not enough can be said about them. But yeah, I would love to do some more with them as well. I forget what's the beginner package with them. Launch maybe.
Yeah. Launch.
That's what I did.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think they have a coupon code for an upcoming conference, or each time. So I'll get with you on that. But to go for it for like pretty much free or cheap, to kind of just see,
oh wow.
to experience kind of what it's all about. I like their messages. I like they do good business. They seem to promote good values. So I'm unaffiliated, but believe in how they're helping businesses
Yeah,
grow and become, big boy multis.
they've got the right mindset, and I like it.
Well, cool. Well, Cory, man, where can people find you in case they do want to connect with you on socials? What's the
Yeah,
best
man. Just
follow?
you can look me up on Facebook. That's where the majority of the stuff goes. Just Cory Seawright or Mississippi Premier Inspections. Hook up. I'm open for any questions. Anybody has any, any questions? Maybe I have an answer. I don't know. I'll try. And open to just dialogue and conversation with anybody.
Awesome, man. You're refreshingly cool to hang out with. Good hang, and I'm sure you'll get some outreach. There's always people I think looking to connect because it's an isolating industry, right? I mean, like you guys hang out in homes, alone sometimes, multiple times a day or week.
It really can be.
So I'll link the website, Facebook, Instagram, all that in the description for anyone that kind of wants to take a peek at your content, see what you're doing. I think it's cool stuff.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate it. Really do.
Yeah, this has
Thanks
been
for having
fun.
me too, man. I'm glad this wasn't a mistake on your end. So
Hell no, man. This is
glad,
awesome. This
glad
is
to
good.
talk to you.
This is a great episode. I love, being able to laugh, and hopefully, our dialogue could provide some value for someone out there. So many people say it's always so refreshing to hear stories like yours because it makes them feel more like human in their skin of what they're going through, because it sometimes they're like, I'm kind of just winging it. Like, I don't know if all this is like supposed to feel this way.
Look, if I could tell anybody anything, is I'm nothing special. I just know how to hustle and go do. That's all I know how to do, and that's all you've got to do. And then the rest follows. It's just
Well
the way
said.
it is, nature of it.
Well said, man. Well, I wish you continued success. Let's stay in touch over the coming months. Definitely want to keep tabs on the progress, and then we'll connect you with our product team to kind of chat through the future.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Always look to the future. Love it, man.
All right, Cory. Well, have a great rest of your day, my brother.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
All right.
See ya.
See you.